Cheers!
Cheers!
Here we are at Dulce Base.
We're at Dulce Base.
You didn't know Dulce was a fan of Black Sabbath, did you? You know they rocked out like that?
I know that now.
I had a suspicion.
Yes.
So we're doing our surprise Sunday stream today. We're here at the Cow Army House. We got
Cow Army Barracks, I suppose, right?
Yeah. Headquarters.
Headquarters. There we go.
Yeah.
I'm John, your Chief Gaming Officer from TableTop Takeovers. We've been playing this special event for a long time. We got some exciting news. That's why we came all the way down to LA today to deliver this exciting news. If you didn't see it on their Kickstarter page already, but let's introduce everyone here. So
I'm Weller.
I'm
from Weller from Sentient Cow Games. Yes, I'm one third of the cow.
I was like, that's the way you announced it at the LA Comic Con.
Yes,
so.
I am 1/3 of the cow.
I'm Craig Sawyer. I am 1/3 of the cow as well. A creative person, and
I would say so.
and Donna is the other. She's the creator behind the camera.
Hi.
There, say hi. Yeah, it's hard to get Donna over there.
She's producing today.
She's producing today.
She's producing.
Oh, she's always producing.
And then, and our last.
I'm Jeremy from D20 Adventure Realm, and super excited about this game. This is I don't know if you guys know this. This was the first thing that I've ever backed on Kickstarter. This was
Really?
I did not know that.
Yeah,
Dude,
this
thank you, man. That
Yeah.
means a lot. Yeah,
This
thank you.
was
This
like
one-
you guys
Yeah.
sold me on what Kickstarter could do.
Wow.
And so
Was
this one, yeah.
that a bonus?
I was honestly I was thinking about it today because I was checking up on a couple other things that I've Kickstarted recently, and I was like, man, what was the first one? And I went through and I was like, it was you guys. So this is what like got me into supporting, like small creators, independent creators, and everything. So thank you.
That was
yeah,
it's a bonus Kickstarter confession for our normal
yeah,
show.
yeah. Throw that out there. I figured this was the appropriate time
And
to
coming
do it.
from your storytelling background, that means even more to us because you, we'll get into more of that a little bit later. But that means a lot, man. Like, it's
Absolutely,
like, okay,
man.
we did,
Yeah.
like,
You're a big D&D head.
yeah, you get it, man. You got it.
Like,
That's
that means
cool.
a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because we come from us. That was one of the big impetus for us making Escape from Dulce. We're huge Dungeons and Dragons fans.
Yeah.
That's what we grew up with. That's what we wanted to kind of have that spirit infused into this game in a board game.
Bleeds it. That's
Nice.
It's just
I
like
like the that's a dungeon master.
yeah.
It bleeds it. Yeah, I love that. Man.
Yeah, and thank you guys for coming up and doing this with us. It's always good to see you.
From the realm of the OC.
We never have enough time to hang out,
Yeah.
but these guys are awesome, and we love everything they've been doing for the SoCal board game community. And it's cool whenever we get to see them and do an
I'm
event
sharing
them,
with the
so.
masses right now, so I'm sharing this
No,
cast. So
that's-
if you wonder what I'm looking down, I'm not checking sports scores. I'm like,
So Craig is sharing right now. If you have any questions, but give us about another minute or two. Everyone's hopping on. Ask your questions about this game. If you're on the fence about backing it or how many copies are left, we're going to go over some of that. I highly, highly recommend backing this game. But we're going to be live. We're going to be monitoring comments and just talking. And in a few minutes, we'll go over on the show tonight. We're not going to do any party games or anything. We're actually strictly this game. We might play a little bit, but we already have it unboxed. We're going to go over the setup, and we're gonna talk tonight. We're just going to chill out, and we are going to play.
you're hanging out with friends tonight.
Yeah.
We're hanging out with friends, drinking beer.
Virtual beers are on us. So get real close to the screen. Maybe you can taste it. I don't know. Like lick the screen.
But Jeremy brings up an interesting. Before we dig in, more people are coming on. That was his first kick. Did you have a first Kickstarter?
Oh man, I'm not even sure what our first Kickstarter was.
And we have a lot of casual gamers. I mean, maybe we can explain what Kickstarter is.
To be, I'll be honest with you. We started work on this before we even got into Kickstarter backing.
We just wanted to make a
literally
board game.
We were
know.
just like, hey, let's start this, and then we were like, oh, wait, this is. I mean, we were naive. Like we were like, oh, this is really big on Kickstarter, and there's some really cool stuff. And then we started looking into that, and we fell down that rabbit hole very quickly, and we started,
you in the bedroom right now and see a stack of games.
Yeah.
Voice behind the camera.
What do you got?
I love backing the underdogs.
Yeah, absolutely.
We backed some of the big ones, too, that were like, I really want this game. But we love backing the
Yeah.
underdogs that we really want to see succeed. So
Absolutely.
I have kind of an eclectic backing profile.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looks like we got Valerie is live right now. So,
Hey, Valerie. How are you? I
looks
know
like
her.
We got 4, 5, 6 people online. If you have any questions, please shout them out. We're live with the Cow Army tonight. Their game is coming out. Speaking of, when's it? Do we have a ballpark
what's
ETA?
What's the update?
All right, so we found out. Everybody was, us included, were freaking out this week because we couldn't really get some answers on where exactly things were.
The
but
ship was ghosting a little bit.
yeah, people were
Yeah, I
like,
was
"Wait,
like, oh,
we
man."
thought
Yeah.
the ship with the U.S. orders was supposed to go to Jacksonville and drop off the games there." That's what we were told. Turned out, trying to peg down shipping and how things change is like trying to hit a moving target blindfolded.
Yeah.
So we finally got some answers, and we realized that the ship dropped the games off in the U.S. at a different port, and at this point right now, all of the games for U.S. backers, European backers, and Australian backers, which is everybody,
And Canadian.
and Canadian, yes.
Don't forget the Canadians,
They've sorry, Canadians. You're friends of ours.
Neighbors.
Yes, friends and neighbors.
Ryan Reynolds will come after us.
Yes,
You know,
but
yeah.
all of the games have cleared customs in their countries at this point. So right now, we're looking at the games probably have another couple of days to get to the fulfillment centers. At that point, it's going to be a week to 10 days until they can unpack stuff and start repacking it.
Yeah.
So we're hoping, in about 2.5 weeks, games are going to start shipping out to backers. We're keeping our fingers crossed. We know everybody's been chomping at the bit for this.
Yeah. Thank you for being patient.
And thank you for being patient. We've run into delay after delay with some stuff, but it's all a learning experience for us, and it's one of those things. Okay, we know this better now, so the next time we do this, we'll know better, and we'll be able to serve you better and give you more accurate information.
And I was thinking about this the other day. Like, we used to be neighbors across the way, right behind this apartment, and that landlord ended up being a scumbag, and they eventually tore those down. But we shared a backyard. But we were talking about this game 3 years ago in the backyard, and that's kind of like we were playing games and getting more back into it at the time, and it started building from there. And it kind of started like, what would you do?
When we started playing D&D again, and then you got a copy of Arkham Horror, which we started playing, and then we got a copy of Zombicide, and that was the three of those things were what kind of got the ball rolling.
And then one day I was like, wait a minute, you do packaging. You guys are senior package designers for a toy company.
Yeah.
You've priced to China. You're still dealing with that. I'm a writer and stuff. Oh my God, we have like the A team for board game creators in this room.
All the materials necessary.
We could actually do this. And
hence all this stuff.
And then I'd come over, and like Welder had made like out of balsa wood, like he'd made like things out of wood, like the towers out of wood, and then we started like literally hand drawing cards and just going back and forth. Like, what would you do with this? What if you killed a robot? What if you could be your ally? That's crazy. Anything that made us laugh out loud, let's put it in there.
Yeah. Why not?
Let's do it.
I love the sci-fi and there's a comedy to this game. Like, take it serious, but at the same time, you're playing a game, and you nail it. You put the nail in the coffin.
The mechanics are solid and serious, but we wrap around that a veneer of just like pop culture and absurdity.
Oh my God! You can play as a two-headed cow with a machine gun strapped to his back.
Which is also one of your logo. One of the heads is the logo.
Well,
right?
we're a sentient cow, so we kind of wanted a mix of a Monopoly guy with a cow, because cows give everybody loves cows. They give you ice cream and cheese, and they're good. And then like they got top hats, and we put a monocle on him, and that's our mascot. It's iconic. And then of course you have to have a cow in the game.
Yeah, of course.
And like it ranges from a two-headed cow to Amelia Earhart. She got abducted by aliens, by the way, in case it were happening to Amelia. 500-year-old samurai abducted from feudal Japan is a character you can play. Yeah. So this is the most irreverent.
And they all have unique abilities.
They all have unique abilities.
My favorite, I think, is the just disgruntled alien that's just been stuck here forever since he crash landed. Yeah, Ray Locke. He's just like, just get me out of
So
here.
Yeah.
So and I love the
cigars. Yeah.
So I love the
He's
first.
a bit our Nick Fury,
Yeah.
but way more cantankerous.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
yeah,
John.
yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
I love the first layer of the character building that was already there, and then I was like, the first time I came over and played it, we were setting up about a year ago from
Yeah.
today. Setting
Yeah,
up our,
it was a
just a
while,
demo
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
We actually did an event on the last day of your Kickstarter, and we were coming over, and I was like, "This game's awesome!" And then Allies came in, and I was like, "There's a whole nother level of characters."
Yeah.
And I was just like, "Oh,
Yeah.
Well, one big problem with RPGs on a board is like, you play Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder or in these games, like you actually care about those characters. Like you invest a lot of time in them. Fifth level, if your fifth level cleric died, you kind of maybe crack a tear or at least throw something. Now
Other than dice.
yeah, exactly. So, but in a board game, it's like just give me whatever. Give me the dwarf. Give me the girl with the roller skates. Give me that. It doesn't really matter. People kind of have that same kind of giddiness with these characters. They're each unique. They customize differently. You can build them the way you want to build them, and kind of and they can use weapons. One can use weapons, others can't, because all our item cards are icon based. So, like for instance, Vanna, hold that up.
Sure.
This is my bearded Vanna.
I like to buy an O. Can I buy an O?
And so Adam can't wear the light armor like Amelia can because he's 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
But these icons match up instantly. So when you pull a card, the icons match up directly. You know if you can use it or you can't use it, and the weapons. And so everybody feels unique. You're building an actual party like you would build in a role playing game.
Yeah.
And even though our game is a little Ameritrashy, it's got some dice wielding stuff in it. You still have to think about who's going into the dungeon or the base.
Yep.
And we start the game with we set out some starting items for the party, and I told people who are D&D players, I said, "Well, pick. You decide as a party who gets what." Now, if D&D people, they're like, "Yeah, I know exactly what to do. You can do that." But if a board game people are like, "What do you mean?"
Right.
We wanted people to think outside the box. More so than they usually do in a board game.
Yeah.
You
And
know, so-
we're also trying to do character building. I mean, we give you a little bit of backstory about your characters on each of the file folders.
That's what I was just about
huge
to
world
say.
building,
Yeah.
It's just the little details that all add up. Like if you look at the stuff, it's like Adam Starblaster. My blood type is Slurpee. Like
You get a little bit of personality out of them.
Yeah.
And so this was
The people
one
are
of the
talking.
things- yeah,
Go-
one of the things
go
that
ahead.
I remember, and I played. Raylock was the first character that I played, and I remember one of the first actions was I pulled a card, and it was a decision on whether or not there was going to be a battle of wits. It was an intellectual battle, and I was like. It was kind of risky, right? You could lose some of your intellect if you lost that battle.
Sure.
you were doing the Lizard Man chess battle.
Yes, yeah.
Lizard Man Shaman.
Chess.
Yes.
And I was like, all right, I'm looking at this character. He is arrogant. He is smart, but he also thinks that he's smarter than everybody else. He's definitely going to take this out. He's going to take the risk.
Yeah.
He's not going to back down from this. And it was easy for me to immediately recognize that's his personality because of that.
And that's what the
backstory
bios
in there.
do.
And I love that. I was
Yeah.
like, I can role play this so easy.
And for a board game, that doesn't
yeah.
happen.
Thank you, man.
Right,
That's
yeah.
A lot.
awesome.
Yeah.
Eric, Greg Johnson said it would be nice if you could zoom in on the paper. We could see this far out. You could see the player sheets a little better. So we're big mouths. You guys.
Let's before we. I know we're talking about characters in this. What is this game? Maybe we should kind of go.
Shit, we dove right in
So
there.
you two take this.
Okay, well, Escape from Dulce is...
Wait, hold up a second. You can't. Nobody can see.
They'll be able to see it. There's a little bit of a delay on your screen.
Oh, there is.
Yeah.
Give it just a second.
I'm trying to see, man. I'm trying to let it.
Don is doing a nice pan over
It'll
on the
pop up.
folder.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
But yeah, Escape
go.
from Dulce
There you go.
is it's a collaborative sci-fi dungeon crawler for 1 to 5 players, and players play as one of 8 crazy characters that, like a two-headed cow or Adam Starblaster or grumpy old Raylock. Then they've all been imprisoned in the bottom level of Dulce Base, which is kind of like a lesser-known Area 51. It's all underground. And you start down here and you have to work your way up through the 6 levels of the base to escape to the surface. And along the way, you're going to have a whole buttload of encounters. You're going to find all sorts of different loot. You're going to upgrade your character. You're going to level up. And,
And you share.
and
you share
hopefully
clones.
you make it out. Yeah. Yeah, there's a player clone system that we have in the game so that while it is a co-op game, if your character gets killed, nobody wants to go and sit in the corner and watch their friends finish the game. So we basically created this system. Props to you, Michael Wright. You helped us with this.
We love you, Michael.
We love you, Michael.
If you get killed, you just lose one of these tokens and you're still in the game. But if you run out of tokens, it's game over for everybody. So you all got to get out together, or you all die together.
And I want to
Is
add...
that a good wrap-up?
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
And
I want to add...
Greg says awesome, so
Thanks, Greg.
for the Zoom and everything.
I want to also put in, like, what makes our game a little more unique than most is that there's an AI-driven mechanic. There's no dungeon master. There's no games master in our game. So when you walk into a room, they're all labeled the Roman numeral on each level. You start in the bottom of the caverns below the base, the lizard-manifested caverns. You can encounter numerous groups of enemies there. And you go up your way up. You're looking for objective tokens, the main one being a portal. Fight a boss at each level. And then you port up this board. And this is the game board, the 3D board. Some people at cons think this is just a prop. And I go like, no, this is the game.
Yeah.
So when you walk into the room, you're trying to mitigate the alarm level. So the last boss in the game is the Man in Black. And he's a bad mama jama. You'll fight him at the end of the game. And he also could come in earlier. Because if you don't keep this alarm level down, it goes from green to yellow to red to black. If it gets to black, he'll come on the board early.
Not good.
And he'll put a beat down on you. But as you go into the rooms, you draw narrative cards based on that Roman numeral. They'll go 1 through 4. They get harder as you go up. And when you draw a card, it lists the colors of the alarm level where it's at. And according to the number of players and where the alarm level is currently at, it tells you how many enemies spawn in the game. Now, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different versions of a mobs that can spawn in that room. And they go from lizard men to gray aliens to Dulce base guard, underpaid Dulce base guards. They aren't getting paid right now because the government shut down.
Right,
so they're extra pissed off.
But I'm bummed.
Yeah. And thanks. I won't say his name. But mutant hounds.
Robots.
And robots. And so what's crazy about them is, so you pull them, say 2 lizardmen spawn in the room according to the card. Now, even though there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yes.
Is that right, Roller?
That is right.
7 cards. Each of them have unique attacks, even between 2 lizardmen.
Each one is different. Yep.
Each one is different. And some enemies have 2 attacks, some have 3. But, times that by number of cards, you have 20 or 30 variations of each enemy attacks. So very seldom do you get the same 2 twice. It's always exciting.
Yeah.
And they target attributes on player sheets.
Yeah.
So the first attack for this lizard man is spear throw. Highest health. He would go after the character with the highest health. Even if he's in the adjacent room, he would throw into that room. So they think for themselves, it was a melee attack. He would actually spend an action to go into that room. And our game is an action point based game.
Yeah, and like Craig was saying, like nobody has to play the bad guy in the game. Nobody's got to run the enemies. I always hate that about co-op games. Oh, it's a co-op game, but somebody's got to play the bad guy.
Right.
Yep.
Like,
No, it's a true co-op game.
That always just kind of like, I never really got that to me. Like, I just...
The 4 versus 1.
Yeah. So nobody's got to play the bad guy. The bad guys run themselves. It's everybody versus the game.
I like how because the attacks are tied to the character attributes, it takes a lot of the guesswork out. Because as a dungeon master, I want to try to be fair to players too. I don't want to like hammer on one player over and over and over again.
Sure.
Even if it is kind of like randomly generated. Say I'm rolling a die to determine which one is getting hit.
Yeah.
They could unfortunately turn up maybe 2 or 3 times in a row, and they're just kind of getting the brunt of it.
Yeah.
Where this is more apt to spread that damage out over the party. And
nobody's to blame.
Right.
Nobody's like, why are you being hard on me, man?
You know, it's just like, no, this is just the luck of the draw, and because it's based on that, the same type of action economy of your movements and your attacks and everything. I think it helps mitigate and balance everything as well, because you're not
well said. And the one thing about us, we didn't want to reinvent the wheel for Dungeon Crawl. But we did pay attention to what people were saying they didn't like about dungeon crawls. And there's things about it they didn't like and the things they liked. So we tried to take out the things that were clunky with the dungeon crawl and amp up things that were good.
Slowed things down, weren't any fun. And
so one of the main things people don't like is not enough loot, not enough items. boy, do we have
You got
the loot. We met it sometimes
fat
when maybe
stack of
we
loot.
went too far.
Hands them over.
Ridiculous, yeah.
So very seldom. Okay, there's 3 decks of loot, like all in my other.
Well, you
bag.
can hold on to those ones.
Okay. They're too
I'm gonna
heavy.
give some.
They're too heavy for
so
you.
we can read some of them off.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give some to
Give me
Jeremy.
a couple. I want to read a few of these. But,
And then I'll take some and pass them over.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you're watching right now, ask some questions. Some of this game's coming out soon. They
Yeah.
still have copies available.
We do.
Got the creators right here.
Well, we got
2/3
all
of the
sorts
creators.
stuff. I got a sacred boombox. This is an awesome card. It is literally a boombox, and it says, if you have a cassette tape, use this item once per encounter to automatically stun with 1 lizard man per turn.
Because lizardmen worship heavy metal and Dulce base.
Yeah.
In case you didn't know that.
as they should.
I have a conjoined sweater vest for the which family is it? The
That's for the
Smith.
Smith family.
the Smith family. That
The
are
only conjoined family in the player.
it's a true story.
I have a hand grenade. When you want to kill every motherfucker.
That'll do it.
This is the only card, too, that can affect player characters, too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's
You gotta
interesting.
be careful.
That actually can damage
friendly
your
fire.
Oh.
so if
Oh,
you wanna-
yeah, big time.
You've had too much of Dulce. You find out you're a clone. You just want to end it all. Just throw the grenade down. You're having a little existential dilemmas.
Yeah.
Being a clone. Yeah.
So I've got some first aid kits. Those are always handy in this type of game.
Of course.
I appreciate the shock stick. So you do
You
damage
appreciate it?
and stun an enemy for 1 turn on a critical hit. So like you
course.
basically take them
That's
out of the round.
interesting.
Yeah, I like that a
You
lot.
can explain that one to me. I haven't seen that card before.
So this is one of the stretch goal cards. This is a makeshift boomerang.
Oh, okay.
Now you can draw the makeshift boomerang. You can throw it. It's very Krull-esque.
But you can make it.
But
It's
you can
part
make.
of
So we have
weapon
we have
crafting.
something called weapons crafting, which is a new thing that was
Oh,
a
I think
stretch goal.
I got that card.
So there's
yeah.
a recipe book in the back of the rules manual. When you get weapons crafting as an ability, which you can slot in abilities like a microchip in the Matrix in people's heads. There's an ability slot in your character sheet. If you find some lesser items, you can create better items.
Yep. Yeah.
From-
So all of a sudden,
from
all
that.
those useless lead pipes or rusty pipes that you got can be combined into something
duct
a
tape.
little bit better.
Duct
That, yeah. I got a cowboy outfit.
we got a great guy question.
always one of my favorite cards. It just says +1 laughs.
We
You
got
just look silly.
we got a question from the web. How do you find items? Is there a limit to how many you can have?
Yes. Well, to find items, basically, after every encounter, what you're going to do is you're going to roll one of the big red die there. It's a normal 6-sided die, and you have to make a stat check against your mental skill. So if you roll equal to under your mental stat, you will find something, and that means that you can draw one of these delicious, delicious loot cards. All right? In a 1 to 3 player game, every time you search a room, you can roll twice. If you get 2 successes, you take 2 cards, you keep one, you give one back. If you get 1 success, you take a card. In a 4 and 5 player game, it was too much rolling, and basically everybody searches once. They roll once.
And it's a co-op game, so people are trading items.
Yeah.
So this is a good time to go into
Big
like
part of the game.
into how our combat works a little bit. Okay. So our game is you have a strength on everybody's sheet. You have a strength stat, a mental stat, accuracy stat, and a speed stat. So your speed stat tells you how many actions you get per combat turn. Actions only cost during combat. After combat's over, there's no enemies on the board. Everything's free. You can heal each other. You can trade weapons. You can search all for free. As the alarm goes up, that changes things a little bit. We'll get into that in a minute. But to hit, these are these big giant combat dice or stat check dice that I really fought for hard. Everybody's like, you can't have big dice. But I got them.
I got him.
Because in demos, people are asking, which one's the stat check die? I was like,
It makes it easy. You
The
always
big
roll
ones.
the
you
big
know the,
one.
you
Always
know
roll
the
the
big
big
red
one
dice are
first.
stat check dice.
Yeah.
So they got the alien skulls on them. They're cool as hell. So you roll equal to or under our stat to be successful in our game. A 1 is a
got?
critical hit.
Oh,
So I want to show a normal six-sided
Oh yeah, put
die.
some perspective on that.
Yeah, so here we go. If you can see that. Get
Okay.
an idea of what those giant dice look like.
And Jeremy, if you go behind the camera, Mary wants to see if we can get a close up.
Mary Jane.
If you just zoom in, We'll just do a quick zoom in for a minute.
Okay.
And then we'll zoom back out.
And we
Just-
want of the board?
No, just leave the camera, but just use your fingers.
Okay.
It should zoom right in, right?
Technology.
I love it.
It's got a lot
Or
of...
do this.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Okay, hold on.
Just think about it.
You always do
Right,
2 fingers.
We're Dulce based. We have a tech you wouldn't can believe.
From the future.
Just a little.
Oh, somebody said
Yeah,
Shannon
you should be able
Westbrook.
to just...
Hello, Shannon. What's up? Ooh, big dice. Everybody likes them big.
Just do like this.
Mary Jane said,
We'll
"Cool."
lower it just a little bit.
Okay.
Mary Jane is pleased.
There we go.
Nice.
So
All right.
we get a little bit more of the game.
Oh wow, that is zoom. Zoom.
There we
Close
go.
up.
So we'll just go on this for just a bit.
Sure.
So we got some questions on the board, so maybe we should go over the board. If that's cool.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So we're zoomed in on the board here. Let's
Okay.
go over the board.
Weller, would you like to talk about the board?
Yeah, we can talk about the board.
Just for you, Mary.
Mary Jane.
All right, let me-
Mary Jane. Mary Jane. All right.
Well, for
We
both
look good over here.
for both campaigns, players
Yeah.
will start in this room of the board, and then from there, every room you set up your basic equipment. For every new room you go into, through the doorways, you're going to draw a new encounter card, and at that point, we'll set enemies out on the board, and we'll start battling. After the enemies are done, you'll search the room for loot, and then you'll continue on like that, searching for objective tokens to find your way up to the next level. Now,
There's no objective tokens on the board yet. We didn't set them, we didn't set them
we
out.
didn't set
But you
any of
randomly
those
put
up,
them in a
yeah.
pile and mix them up. And what are the objective tokens, Weller?
Well, you're looking for the portal and the computer terminal. Those are the two that you need to find to advance. The computer terminal turns the portal, and then the portal is what takes you to the next level. There are also cryopods.
you gotta fight a boss, though.
Which, well, every portal is
That's
guarded
free.
by a
That
boss.
is free in Dulce.
So at the end of every level,
down,
you're
down.
gonna have to fight a boss. This is the boss for the first level. It's the Lizard Man Commander.
Doing the
Depending
voice.
on how many
Lizard Man
players are
Commander.
playing, you might have to fight more than one boss
Yep.
at a time. So it's we balanced it so that like the more people that are playing, the harder enemies you're gonna have to fight.
Because early demos, like a 5-player crew was just blazing
Oh,
for a
yeah,
single
yeah.
commander. And like,
Yeah,
so if you have 5 players, you're going to fight, most of the time, you're going to fight 2 or more commanders to progress.
time.
And
Yeah.
it's just more balanced, you know?
Yeah.
And by the time you leave the first level's got the most rooms in it, but you're grinding a little bit. You're going up a level. So this is like a long-form RPG within 2 hours of the B-side. Now, this is not, these are B-side, and there's an epic campaign.
No,
and
this is the A-side.
This is A-side.
Yeah.
We usually have it on the B-side for demos, but the A-side has more rooms. Flip it over, there's graphics underneath, and there's lesser rooms. So the B-side lasts about 2 hours and some change.
2-3 hours.
But
Three,
you're
four.
changing cards, and it's a D&D experience almost. And then you flip it over, it could be 3 to 4 hours. But it's a fast-paced RPG, so you're going to go up 7 or 8 levels within one gaming session. And I didn't like it
And that's character levels, not
Exactly.
base levels.
Good. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
good
yes.
point that out.
yeah.
And so I didn't like it that you had to wait till after an adventure to level up. You level immediately in our game and decide if you want to add that to stats or you want to add that to base health. Those are choices you
Yeah.
make in the game.
And John Beckler's getting the allies out.
Well, we
there.
had a question for an ally.
Oh, are the allies playable for characters? Yes. No, not now.
Not now. Basically, they come in. They come into the game. They come into.
Wait, hold on. This is the first time hearing of this answer.
Top secret. No.
Well, they are playable, but they're not full characters. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they can come in.
Technically, they are playable,
They can
right.
come into the game in 2 ways. They can come in by encountering them through encounter cards, or if you get 2 of the items that they want, you can turn them in and bring them into play. So,
Yep.
like Mikey the Goat Boy, he wants cassette tapes of metal bands, mixed tapes of metal bands. If you can get 2 of those cards, you can turn them in and you can bring them out.
A theme with the type of music that the denizens of this base listen to.
Yeah.
Base. I'm just.
They can't see it right now. They can't
All right,
see it.
fair enough.
If you look at right here, that's where
All
we're
right,
at.
yeah.
So yeah,
I was pointing at the Black Sabbath
Yeah.
poster, but anyway, yeah. So
we're metal and punk fans, and like
Donna,
that-
if you want to put that up in front of the camera, that's Maury the Mothman. He's one of the allies. That's what his ally card looks like. So he has one attack that he can always do, another attack that he can do once per encounter, and a third attack or thing that he can do once per game level. All right, they're not fully playable characters right now, but what we were doing is right now we are in development of 4 new expansions for the game, and each one of those expansions focuses on one of the allies. So within that expansion, they will become a playable character. So like for the one related to Kultar, the Atlantean, it's called Attack on Atlantis.
Well, let's say who the allies are first. Like, so we got Kultar, the Atlantean, who you summon with fish, and you bribe too. So if you summon these characters,
well, that's more than Mothman Donna's.
That's more than Mothman now, but anyways, yeah, they each take bribes. So you summon them with certain things. Kultar's fish. If you want Kultar to stay with you another level, you got to give him another fish. More the Mothman takes Richard Gere movies on VHS tape.
Right here.
That's what he likes.
There we go. So you can put your hand in there.
Richard Gere movies on VHS tape because he's very vain, and the Mothman Prophecies are his favorite movie. And Blurry takes peanut butter. Mike the Goat Boy takes heavy metal cassettes, and they're allies that help you. But we were questioning earlier, why would allies stay with your ass? You know, you got to bribe them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Everybody wants something in Dulce, and nothing's for free.
But yeah, the expansions we're working on all relate to one of the different allies, and we're having some serious fun with those, and we're going to be dropping.
But to get the expansions, what do you need?
Well, you're going to need to buy the game.
Exactly.
To have, yeah. But the expansions are we already have the first 2 out, and it's 2 expansions for $20. There's going to be some minis involved with the new ones. So, oh yeah, there's Bounce back there.
I can't see him. I can't see him.
I don't know.
We're going to zoom back out.
But yeah,
no one said they miss our faces.
We haven't done costing on the new expansions yet, but they're probably going to be a little bit more expensive because they are going to come with some minis.
Jeff Rakowski says, "Here's hoping we see Batboy."
Oh,
there'll be some form of Batboy, maybe.
Now they can probably see.
That is definitely something that is in the wheelhouse for us. We're just trying to figure out exactly where Batboy is going to fit into things.
That kid, yeah, who's in the
Tabloids? It's got to be meaningful and related. So.
Time frame for expansions, Greg Johnson wants to know.
Hopefully, May or June, we're going to be launching those on Kickstarter, as well as second printing of this, because honestly, we don't have a lot of stock left. We've sold 3/4 of the games.
Well, you touched on that on the phone earlier this week with me. That's something we're actually going to bring up. I remember we shared a Flashback Friday photo on our stream or on our page, and someone's like, "Oh, I can't wait for this to hit to retail stores," and then you can tell them now.
It's not going to hit retail.
We're not going to retail right now, and it's going to be after a second printing or during that. So that's going to be a while away. So if you want the game, here's another thing too. When games hit retail, they're going to go up in price too, you know. So just because that's the way it works, you know.
Everybody needs their cut, man.
Everybody needs their cut. Yeah. So if you want the game, I mean, we're selling it right now for $80 with all the unlocked stretch goals. We didn't jack up the price because we had more stuff in the thing, you know. And we've been adding stuff like Linen Finish and all the cards and stuff, and that was just extra. Some people do that as stretch goals. We just wanted to make a great game. And
we made the best game.
We made the best game we could with what we had. And, you know, if you want this game for a great price, $80 for what you get this game. The replayability is off
phenomenal.
The hook. You know, we got 8 mini scenarios on top of this. We even have a head-on scenario where I was like, maybe I was drinking. I don't know. It's like that's out of character for me. But maybe one day I was doing that, and we're talking, can the cow beat the samurai? What would happen? So we kind of have a head-on game where you can actually fight each other, like an Unreal tournament or like a Fortnite kind of.
That led to some heated arguments in playtesting when Craig and I were doing that.
Yeah,
actually
there were minis broken. It's
a good fast-paced 30-minute. You're trying to capture the crystal skull and get back to your starting spaces.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And you grab loot crates.
It's like a half an hour.
And it's like we could almost just made that as a game, and like that's a game within this game.
Yeah.
You know, that you can play too. So we have a little something for everybody. You know,
so we're just with the number of encounter cards versus rooms, like you do simple math, you can figure out that you can play this at least a half a dozen times, and like not get any of the same encounter cards twice.
And I always see weird things
like,
happen.
if you were to take the encounter cards you got in the previous game and put them aside,
Right.
you could still play this for 6 or 7 times, and you have new cards every time.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
It's a
plus
mixture of like who you're
the different
playing,
characters, you know, it's... Yeah.
the narrative cards you draw. And speaking of narrative cards, let's...
Before you jump into that,
Okay,
so
okay,
if you want this game and you're watching right now, you probably should get the game soon.
Yeah, you should go to our...
So-
run right now. Like, whatever you're doing. Like, even quit watching
Run!
this podcast.
Don't walk!
No. Finish watching this cast.
Oh, yes! Do
And
that
then-
first.
But, if something's on fire or something, take care of that. But right after that, go to our website, sentientcowgames.com. That is our website, right?
That is.
Okay.
And you can also find us on Kickstarter. You can go to either of those places.
Yeah.
There's a big orange pre-order now button. You click on that. It'll take you right to backer kit. You can get it for $80. I think shipping in the U.S. is $15?
$15.50 base game.
$15.50 for the base game. A little bit more if you order expansions or anything else we got.
Another thing about the expansion I want to touch on, like, I see a lot of companies come up with expansions as much as the base game, like super expensive expansions. So we made a conscious decision to give you more content without adding a lot of plastic to it. You know, you get 2-in-1 expansions.
They're
for
under there.
$20.
Under the box.
Yeah.
Other
And,
one.
we put a lot of thought into them.
The bargain.
They each come with new mechanics. You know, the Lizard God Umagatu expansion comes with a cave-in mechanic.
There it is.
You go deeper into it, and it's like a D&D adventure to the bone. And the other one is like, after you escape the base, you go to the surface. It's called the Joey Fixis Wild Ride. And a super intelligent chimpanzee from the moon helps you get across the desert.
As happens.
Commandeer a UFO, and you fly
There's
right
one.
to the moon
Yeah, here we
for
go.
our second game.
And to stop you again from going even further, the production value, you talked about some of the cards and stuff, but even the towers are super strong. And they fit in the box. I was going to do that, but I wanted to make sure you did it first before.
Oh, yeah. No, they'll fit stuff.
Yeah.
They'll fit stuff.
So, we're drinking our Anaheim Brewery beer, our 1888.
Very nice.
And it-
Bring a little something back where we're coming from. So.
Yeah,
Thank you.
We're the boys from Anaheim, so we just want to
Yeah.
bring you some love.
It's like the old talk shows, like segment, like, this is brought to you by Anaheim Brewery. for soothing, refreshing taste. Anaheim 1888.
I love
Based on
this.
the style beer brewed original Anaheim Brewery.
The portrait is inspired by early Anaheim resident, Polish actress Madame Helena Modjeska. So, just in case you're
Craig
wondering.
just needs to read bedtime stories for a living. Any more questions?
Congrats on winning the award, by the way. Thanks, Jeff. That means a lot.
Should bring that up. We should
Yeah.
definitely. What award is he talking about?
I don't know. Did we win an award?
You
We
did.
did. We won on a Board Game Revolution Facebook group. We won.
Thomas Covert, shout out.
Yeah.
He also has an awesome site.
He does, and everybody on that community is
Keeps
great.
it real.
And
Keeps it
we
real.
won. What was it? It was best
New Kickstarter creator of-
first time Kickstarter
Starter creator of 2018.
Yeah,
It was a golden something.
golden meeple.
Golden
We won
meeple.
a golden meeple.
Where is the trophy? Is
Hey.
it coming in the mail?
Hey, Thomas, where's my golden meeple?
It's,
I mean, it doesn't have to
My
be gold.
golden-
It
it's
needs
a
to be painted.
figurative
No,
trophy.
he said it was made of pure gold.
It's up here. The trophy
Oh,
is
Shannon.
up here.
Shannon
It's all
helped us. She
good.
said golden meeple.
Shannon's like, yeah, it's golden meeple. I know what it is. Like, okay, thanks. Thanks, Shannon.
If anyone doesn't know who Shannon Westbrook is,
Oh, she's a huge game fan and just a good supporter of the community from the OC. Like, you know,
we love our
yeah.
Shannon.
No, she's awesome.
Where did those cards go with the encounter cards?
You
that
ate
we were
'em.
gonna read? I didn't eat them.
That's okay. Let's
Fair
see.
The
enough.
narrative cards?
I have them
You
right
got, you
here.
got them, okay. Yeah.
You got some.
So, like I said in the
He
game,
reads the stories, so
Yeah.
we'll pass them. No. We got DMs in the house too. So I'll give you.
Yeah, let's just do a couple. Do like one each. I thought it would be funny if we read
I'm gonna
a
give
couple
one-
of the encounter cards. Yeah.
All right, I'll give one. You get a level 1 card. You get a level 2 card.
All right.
You get a level 2 card.
Ooh, I win.
I'll take a level 4 card.
All right. All right. So
You
we're
go.
just-
We'll go. Counterclockwise?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter. So these are in no discernible order. These are just random encounters that you might get in the base.
As you walk into the room, according to the Roman numeral on the card,
Yeah.
is what you draw from that particular deck.
Yeah.
You have a level.
I have a level 2 card, so my card is called Bitty 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 Die! And it says, a man in a tattered spacesuit named Captain William B. Rogers greets you. He says he's been trapped in the 25th century for years. He managed to get back to his own time with his robot servant, but was captured by little gray men, and his friendly robot was reprogrammed to kill. Alright, when all enemies are defeated, the person that entered the room receives a laser pistol or a reprogrammed chip from the deck. And you're going to have to fight Twiki from Buck Rogers here. And he is not happy with you, and you might have to fight some other gray aliens.
You might get rocket fisted today.
Yeah, you'll see what.
So what's interesting is
These things might happen.
the narrative. What's interesting about our game, the narrative kind of like lays down on the base characters, and it kind of brings it to life, whatever narrative you want to bring to life.
Robots also have an attack called Rocket Fist, so that's what Craig is referring to. Donna, if you want to put that up on the thing.
You think I'm just making up deaths?
Yeah, well,
Always that.
that's how
You
we
might
do.
get
That's how we do
electrocuted in
things.
the bathtub.
Yeah.
So, okay. Mine's a level 4 card. And they get really gnarly at level 4.
And the further up the base you go, the crazier things get. Like, we kind of like to ease people into that, like a warm bath.
Yeah, like Boiling
warm
Frog. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, this card is called the
Or
Death...
spiky bath.
Hey, I'm reading my card, man.
Sorry, man.
So this card is called the Deathinator. You see, this is gonna be a good. Hey, this is nothing. You see a harmless looking microwave in the center of this room. This weapon was nicknamed the Deathinator. It is so deadly that once it went operational, everyone ran out of the room and never returned. Take all the blue, pink, and gray dice. We go back to this. All our weapon classes here, if we haven't mentioned this, has their own colored die. So ballistic dice are green. Lots with D&D fans. Usually the blue dice are laser weapons, alien weapons. The gray dice are experimental weapons. The white dice are melee weapons. And the psychic dice are pink, kind of orange, translucent dice. And each time you draw a weapon, it tells you what dice to roll on the bottom of the card. So anyways, back to this. Some of these encounters are out of the box. So take all the blue, pink, and gray dice and place them in a bag. Roll initiative and set up the combat tracker normally. Each player must then reach into the bag and draw 2 dice. Roll these for how much damage you take before combat. After everyone rolls, you must fight the Deathinator. Place a robot commander on the board to represent him. It starts at 10 initiative. So, yeah, you're taking a ton of damage, and then you find a robot commander, and it attacks first. So we have a combat tracker, and every time before combat, you roll and add your speed to it. That's where you go in the combat tracker. And enemies have their own initiative in our game. So this is a gnarly card. I hope you don't get this one for a while.
Yeah, that one's not good. That one's not good at
We
all.
dropped our followers.
Followers.
Oh, no.
I picked them back up. It's all good.
Okay. I have a level 1 Toad Lickers. This room is full of lizard men licking large toads. They seem amused that you are here. Amused as in they just don't know what's going on because they're licking toads?
Pretty much.
Okay,
They're
alright.
high. They're tripping.
Yeah.
So players get +1 to initiate, or +1 initiative, and an extra action for the first person of combat. Players can choose to lick a toad after combat, make a successful mental check, and gain 1 extra loot search. So that's a good bonus. Fail, and you take a far out trip, and you don't get to search.
So the cards really change the game a lot as you play through. And there's traps.
Yeah.
There's modifiers. There's DM flavor on every card.
Yep.
You know, so it's
And there's modifiers on how many players you're playing with, which is nice.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's always balanced. It's always balanced.
And I like the choices too. Like, there's psychedelic toads here.
Yeah.
Do you want to lick it?
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
You have the option.
yes or no.
Yeah.
Like,
I like
It
people
could help you
in
or it
demos
could
like
hurt
thinking
you.
very deeply. Like,
Yeah.
should we lick this toad? Like, that's the conversation amongst the party. I don't know, man.
It's very serious.
It's very serious. I don't
Life lessons for you kids.
Yeah.
You listen up.
Those kids should be asleep. It's almost 10 o'clock.
know. Right.
Well, we're kids. You know what I mean.
All right, so
Adult kids.
I got the last one here. This is a level 2 card. It is Crullius. So Crullius means delicious in lizard speak. The vicious lizard men have captured greys to bake French-styled cruller donuts in the form of an ancient 5-pointed weapon used by the first lizard people. They will not share their crullers. So you are going to spawn lizard men and gray aliens to fight with this encounter. So that's kind of cool. It's like a mixed encounter with a couple different enemies. But the bonus is that after the encounter, players may eat a donut to regain 1 health.
So, do you know what movie reference that is?
I don't know.
You don't?
No.
Crawl.
Crawl.
Oh, Crawl the Conqueror.
No. That's Call the Conqueror.
That's Call the
Oh,
Conqueror.
Crawl was an 80s like really kind of shitty sci-fi movie, but it was also kind of awesome. And the whole shtick with that was the guy had this weapon called the glaive, and it was like basically a giant ninja star.
Yes.
It was a very
Yeah.
shitty sci-fi movie, but yet so shitty it was good.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
Rift Tracks kind of movie.
Yeah.
And Liam Neeson's actually in this movie.
Yeah, and
The
so is
Neesons.
I'm gonna have to go back and
Hagrid
check
from
it out.
Harry Potter.
Is
and he's
also in
clean
this movie.
shaven. Yeah,
So Krull. Who out there knows the movie Krull?
Krull.
yeah.
Yeah.
So these are the weird things that we touch on, and not everybody's going to get every reference, you know.
But if they don't get the reference, they think now the reference is the
look
game.
it up.
Yeah.
The internet is great.
There's another card called Kalatu Barato Niktu So who knows about that one? And there's one called Chunky Salsa where if you miss with a ranged weapon, you can get Chunky Salsa in your eyes.
I remember having that happen.
Yeah.
I think I played on that card too.
Yeah, somebody fired a shotgun into
That's
the...
not a fun card.
Shannon Westbrook says, "Wait, we don't want to lick a toad." Me. Oh, Greg Johnson's best movie ever. You get the MVP for weird. Greg Johnson. Krull. The glaive is the best. I think did we put the glaive in the game? Is there a glaive type weapon?
No.
I begged for that.
I know you did.
Fuck, see.
We're keeping some things
Oh,
in the
okay,
back
okay.
pocket.
You only have
yeah,
1/3 of the
yeah.
vote.
Yeah.
You only have 1/3 of the vote.
And we've got a lot
The
of
makeshift boomerang
expansions
sword.
coming. We can't give you all everything right away.
Yeah, this is like the wet dream game. Like everything that we've ever loved about anything in our entire lives is in this game. We got cryptids, we got robots, we got samurais, we got medieval knights. It's
it's
like this
just-
universe is like
You got
gray
weird,
aliens,
grumpy aliens.
grumpy aliens, cigar smoking grumpy. They want to wear pants.
Yeah, you know when
Just
you
wear
get
pants, man.
Yeah.
when you get to our age and you know you've grown up on a steady diet of
I got the
comic
big dice.
books and cartoons and Mad Magazine and National Lampoon and you know Monty Python movies. It's like this is the result, you know. You
All
know?
those things that said like, you know, you're fucking wasting your time, you know? Like quit doing like yeah, who's wasting their time now, pal? Look what happened. Look at all this. So, yeah. So it's great. So is what have you backed since you've backed our game? Like, have you gone Buckwild? Insane?
Oh, we going more?
I mean, I haven't gone crazy, but I backed a couple dice Kickstarters, so
Cool.
unique dice. And
Are you a Halfsies fan? Do you know Halfsies dice?
I have one set of half-seas.
I like to bring up John Rott anytime I can. It's just like he's my
He's your spirit animal.
Spirit animal.
Yeah,
Yeah, John Rott. You know, he's like a patron saint of dice.
yeah. I know that
John.
their big thing is just the weight, right? And
Yeah.
and the way that they mix the that's the other thing.
resin.
It's resin. It's not acrylic.
Yeah.
So they're high quality.
Yeah.
Good quality dice there.
This segment's brought to you by Halfsies Dice.
Yeah,
Halfsiesdice.com. John Rott. Anyway, go ahead.
A couple small party games. I backed the Architects for Destruction.
Oh, yeah.
3D terrain Kickstarter last year because that's something that I don't have enough time to build myself. So I needed to, kind of like outsource that. Happy to pay somebody.
Guess who's
to
on
do
the
something
feed
like that.
now?
Yeah.
David Aaron Zuckman is
Hey!
jumped on.
Hey!
What's up?
The Overlord. The
Awesome.
Overlord.
So,
We're so excited for your expansion coming out,
oh
David.
man, he's
It's
got an
gonna be
awesome
great.
expansion coming on Kickstarter. What's the date on that?
Next Tuesday.
Yes.
Next Tuesday.
coming up,
Yes.
yeah.
If you people watching this, if you know what's good for you, you'll be looking out for the new Overlords of Infamy.
Well, once they order yours,
Well,
then
yeah, well, of course.
Tuesday.
Hey,
You can do it at the same time.
this is a big sandbox. There's room enough
there's
for
room
everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Pails.
Yeah.
Different games, but yet fun in their own equal ways. You
Yeah.
know, super fun. I've played his game too. Yeah, so he's a good head, man. Glad you're on board. Thanks for coming to watch us tonight, and I hope you're having a cold one tonight. So, any more? You got questions about early?
Our really, really good friend, Freaky Stefano, loves dice.
Stefanos, shout out.
So he suckered, somehow got our cards programmed into Kickstarter to buy Tainted Grail for both of us.
Oh, wow.
I mean, he put our arms behind our backs, and
Yeah.
so, but we backed that.
Nice.
That cost a lot of money, but that was a good. That's,
Yeah,
I can't wait to get to that one.
Another big game.
It's
that I'm excited
a
about.
big game.
It's a big
yeah.
game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, their Kickstarter went like what, $3 million or something.
over
like that.
$5
$5 million.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You guys should buy a copy for our game.
Yeah.
Tainted Grail people.
Hey man, we just we're just kicking it here in Santa Monica and doing this stuff.
Yeah,
and,
right.
And eventually we hope to get to that level, but we're just keeping it weird until then, and we hope you all like what we're doing, and we'll continue to support the underdog, the underdogs, and then we'll be here to keep giving you weird content for as long as we can.
We're going to turn the magnifying glass on you guys for a second.
So real quick though.
Oh, okay. Throw that in there.
One last question. So you guys have the you have the 2 expansions already. You have several others in the works. Do you have a timeline for when you're going to get those up on Kickstarter, or is that still kind of a little too far out in the future?
No.
Okay.
We've got a whole master plan with we've got the next 4 years mapped out.
Awesome.
Hopefully May or June we're going to be dropping the next 4 expansions. And that will also be a second printing of the base game if you missed it the first time.
If you were lame and totally missed it the first time.
Well, you still have a chance right now, though.
Yeah,
You
that's
do.
true, yeah.
You still have a chance right now.
For a limited time,
I feel like we're on QVC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, go right now for a limited time.
for just $1 a
Instead of
day.
Ginsu knives.
For just $1 a day.
If you order right now within the next 24 hours, you will get a beautiful set of Ginsu knives
Yeah.
made of nano steel.
and
Dulce, you guys.
and that will actually this is a lot of people realize this, but not everybody does, is the fact that this is the first in a planned trilogy of games that all link together. I know, it's so crazy.
That sounds like a secret. Unknown secret.
You guys could. I'm part of this company. You can tell me. We're doing a trilogy.
First they
So-
put your knife in there. Now they're keeping you out of secrets.
Get me the moon board.
Bring me the moon.
Bring me the moon board.
Wait. Has anyone seen this board? Ever?
No.
Whoa.
So the next game is this is
Exclusive.
You escape,
Tabletop
you escape the
Takeovers
base,
exclusive.
and the next game you have to go to the moon to stop an alien invasion by blowing up the moon.
So break it down. So our universe is secret, unknown stuff. That's kind of like Star Wars: A New Hope. That's our universe. And first we escape from Dulce, and then you go to the Hollow Moon in the second one
Oh.
All right.
to blow it up
Hold on, before you put that on the screen,
to stop an alien invasion.
me and Jeremy are going to give you our reactions to this first. I want.
All right, and this is just 3/4 scale, so it's going to be bigger than this.
3/4?
This is 3/4 scale,
Initial
but
prototype.
this is an initial. This is about the 4th prototype of the Hollow Moon board.
The cat destroyed the last one.
Yeah, the cat destroyed the last one.
I can see why. I want to play with it.
But
We're gonna start
The
making
cat's
cat.
coming right now.
the current
Islands.
gameplay is you play one side as the light side of the moon, and then you flip the whole board over and you play it as the dark side of the moon and finish it out. And
Please tell me that you will find some dead cotton seedlings on the dark side of the moon.
Sure.
There's a lot of things.
From like
Yes.
a small, decrepit Chinese.
There's a lot of
Throw
things.
this up there.
There's a lot of things we're
Please tell
working
me.
in right now,
I mean,
and we want everyone.
They showed us the moon, okay?
I know.
They didn't have to show us the moon tonight, but
We gave you the moon.
I mean, we do take over places. So
There is going to be a
a
player character who's a cosmonaut who's a werewolf.
Yes.
So I always want a werewolf on the moon.
What happens when
Yeah.
there's a werewolf on
Right?
the moon?
Okay.
He'll
Is
toggle
he just
back and
a
forth.
werewolf all the time?
No, your character actually transforms into
If
another
he's on the
character.
dark
Well,
side.
there's
of
a
the
light
moon,
side
like-
and a dark side, so how does that work?
Okay, all right.
So the character
all right.
changes halfway
Yep.
through the game. So
Oh.
I mean, you can tell that I'm already on board with it. So,
Jeremy's already pulled his ball
like,
up. Can I
yeah,
just give you cash?
Yeah.
so we take credit cards too.
Yeah, but that's the second game, and then the third game after you
Bitcoin.
blow up the moon, you realize by the time the third game, which is called Lost in Time, by the time that starts, you realize that blowing up the moon was a very bad idea. So you have to travel back in time to stop yourselves from blowing up the moon, and that leads to you being sucked into a black hole, and you're lost in time, and you've got to fight your way back and fix things along the way.
Where do I sign?
Yeah, we've got a lot, and all of those are going to have other expansions related to each thing. It's just like
awesome.
we really love the world that we're building here, and we're looking out like 3-4 years from now for what we're doing, and we're trying to kind of get all our ducks in a row to make sure the narrative's in line. And I don't want to do something where, as much as I love the old TV show Lost, it's like they didn't have a game plan for any of that shit, and by the time it ended up at the end, it was like, really, this is a bunch of bullshit. So it's like, we're trying to get out in front of that and and really focus on what we're trying to do with the story we're telling, and I think we got some good stuff going. But,
So the expansion
we'll see.
Joy
Love it.
Fixes Wild Ride that comes in the first, you can get it right now. It's actually an adventure after you escape the base. So it's whatever level you're at, you stay on that level. So like the normal enemies spawn in the base game, bosses spawn in this one. And so Joey fixes a new playable character, and this takes you right to the spaceship that you commandeered to go to the second game. The narrative
it's a
goes
tie-in directly,
right
yeah.
through directly.
It's like
to the-
1.5.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, exactly.
So, and who doesn't want a super intelligent chimpanzee for the moon as your friend? I mean, right?
I
You'd be
do.
a fool not to.
He has an attack called Chimp on Your Face.
Yes.
So,
He just latches on you.
so all these dudes,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
so all these new details that we're finding out, it sounds like we're gonna be running a lot of events for the next few years.
I mean, yeah, it seems
Looks
like
like,
we're
sounds
gonna
like
have to-
Orange County is going to be a,
Yeah.
a
You saw already
cow
on the
house.
tabletop takeovers.
Bigger and bigger. We'll be
The
there
moon
to support you,
prototype.
man.
It hasn't
We got
been on
you.
any. No one else has seen that.
Ha, Michael! No, I still love you.
I say that. Michael's like, ugh. Yeah, we'll release something with you too, Michael. Yeah, anytime you want.
That's
So
Hey,
that's amazing.
I thought we would throw the board, the Hollow Moon board out. Nobody's seen it at this point. And
So if you watch the stream, you would know it's there.
You
If
know what's
not,
up.
It's just
spoilers.
part of the cow army. That's up.
That's
Absolutely.
All right, you wanted to turn the
So I want to turn the spotlight on you guys a little bit. So, what got you? And you're a big dungeon. Like, tell the people a little bit about you. Like, because the Cow Army's seeing you right now for the first time a
Right.
lot. So,
Sure.
like, what? I know you played D&D.
You want my origin story?
you're-
Is that what this is?
Yeah, before you became a professional DM. You're a professional.
before
DM.
that beard was grown.
Yeah, before.
So,
Back
what
in the-
got you into gaming?
Well, we all do.
Would you like to lean on the couch? We're gonna psychoanalyze.
So I always played. I remember the old Hero Quest, right? Like that
Oh,
was my
yeah,
first
man.
introduction. So
Yeah.
my mom really liked playing games, and then my brother and I would play. We were into Magic the Gathering. We had just thousands of cards. We'd play the Hero Quest, and what was the one after that? I forget what it was. Like Dragon something. It had like a VHS tape that you put
Oh,
in. and
yeah.
then you,
Yeah.
Paused it, and
Yeah.
then you would go through the action. Then you would start it again, and it would depending
That's
on.
great.
Do you remember Captain Power? Did you ever get into Captain Power? Like they had this ship, and you actually you could put the VHS tape, and you would shoot at the screen.
Was that a game too?
Yeah, dude, it was like you could hit. There's certain red things on the screen that would light up hits, and your ship could be hit from the television.
What?
Captain Power, man.
Okay, all right, that
Remember
sounds
Captain
super
Power?
familiar, but yeah.
And I could never know if they were lying to me, like it
Yeah.
was actually working. It was kind of like the Dragon Slayer games. Is this actually working, or is it like? Do I think it's working? But your ship would take hits from the VHS tape.
I was probably an angsty teen smoking cigarettes on the corner when that came out.
We're the same age, man. So you were 12, smoking cigarettes on the corner, maybe.
Yeah. So that was kind of like my
I don't
entry.
remember that.
My entry into it, and then out of high school, I joined the Navy, and I was lucky enough to get deployed with a guy that was super into D&D. And when you're on a ship for 6 months, there's not a lot to do.
That's great.
And he brought along his all of his books, and that turned into and I think a lot of the other people that I played with, that was our creative outlet.
Sure.
That was our kind of escape from where we were and be able to imagine ourselves in a different place and play different characters.
Understandably.
And I was like enamored. I was like, oh, what is this? And why have I not heard or played this before now? And then, so I played a little bit of that, played some Pathfinder and kind of grew more into it. And then a few years ago, more than a few years ago now, when 5th edition came out, when I got the books, it was just like this whole new light came on. And I loved how easy it was to pick up, and I saw potential to get even more people into
What
it.
edition did you start with in D&D?
So I think it was. So this was.
Were you
my
after
friend's
Thaco?
book,
Were you
so,
before Thaco?
This was after. I think it was. It would have been.
You're too young.
Yeah. It was.
No, I'm
It was. I think it was 3rd edition.
Okay. Oh wow.
When I got into
that's
it,
when it started getting fucking Buckwild.
And
3rd edition, like
the
all the
books and
multi-class.
and
You get a bard book, you get like
prestige
this
classes.
Oh yeah. It was cool if you liked a lot of charts and a lot of rules,
Which I do.
I dug it.
Yeah.
I dug it. But a lot of people
I love
are
it.
like,
and it kept there was still a lot of math involved with everything. But I also recognized that when 5th edition came out, like how much more accessible it was to people that had never played before or people that had kind of like dropped off for a little while and were reintroduced to it.
I was super impressed with 5th. I was a little skeptical at the book, started reading it. And I'm like, okay, they've taken a lot of house rules and they put it as canon.
That's the one that we played.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, it brought back the storytelling.
It felt more natural to me again.
Yeah. And it wasn't
felt,
because back in the day, it was my players were quoting to me like charts, like you can't do that, like to the DM, like that doesn't work.
Right.
And now it's more like the people are like they're paying attention to the DM. The DM's a storyteller again. He's got the power again, and it's back to that again.
And because it's more simplified mechanics wise, you can spend more time on that story. And like the role playing aspects and kind of discovering what your character can or cannot do or why they do things. Their motivations for their actions, and that was like a big impetus for me to start doing it in public places. That was kind of how I started. I was just like, okay, I want to play. I want to play with new people because I want to improve my skills as a dungeon master. And I wanted to introduce it to people that normally wouldn't go into game shops, and that was actually a big reason why John and I connected was because
joint force.
We were looking
Twin
at
powers activate.
Exactly. We were looking at the board game industry and the board game culture, and a lot of it, there's a lot of gatekeepers, and there's a lot of barriers for people that aren't already into it to enter.
I agree.
Board game, your game stores and things can be very intimidating if you don't know what you're looking for.
Sure.
And so we I kind of started with the Dungeons and Dragons. I started at a brewery, and I just kind of set up, and it's like, hey, I'm going to be here playing. I have everything that you need. You need to bring nothing but your creativity and your desire to have fun.
Awesome.
And just sit down. I will hand you a character sheet, and we will play the game. And it needs to be as easy or as difficult as what makes it fun for everybody there. Yeah. And it's been great. I mean, I've been running the campaign there twice a month for over a year and a half.
And where's this at?
This is at the Anaheim Brewery.
Nice.
They've been gracious enough to have us post up on their tasting in their tasting room when it's raining. They let us inside and set up tables for us, and they really because they're also community oriented. I think they recognize that it's good to kind of bring people together.
Let me ask you, like a person who plays Dungeons and Dragons a lot now. what was the impetus for the popularity explosion of role-playing games right now? What do you think caused this? I mean, because I can remember a time when D&D was satanic.
Yeah,
You know,
and I mean, even when I was playing, 3.5 and Pathfinder, there was still that hierarchy of nerddom, and D&D players were like pretty low on that totem pole.
Yeah,
always. Yeah, and they've always kind of been down there, and I think a big part of it was the simplicity of 5th edition. Like, it cut out a lot of the math and the nitty gritty tables that you have to flip through all the books. So that was number one. It made it more accessible for people that were new to the hobby.
Sure.
You get more storytelling and less looking at charts.
Exactly.
And calculating.
And then the second part, I think, is just this was really the first edition that came out with such a huge social media presence. I mean, you have people. I mean,
that's a good point.
Critical Role. Anybody talking about how 5th edition become popular?
Critical Role. Shout out to them guys.
Yeah, I mean,
Death Saves.
Death Saves. Yeah, I just.
Joe Maniello. Yeah, he's doing good stuff over there.
The Adventure Zone. I mean, you have all of these podcasts and streamers that have been putting this game out here, out into the world, accessible to the public, and that's what's creating the excitement, I think.
You got a generation of people too growing up on Harry Potter and the Lord of the Rings movies too, and it's got to bring it back together. And all of a sudden you got this
Stranger Things
and
Stranger
nerdy
Things.
Nerdy's cool now. You know, it's
and there's
cool
a socialization factor.
Yeah.
Like, people want to socialize again at the same time. What's the perfect way to socialize?
Yep.
Well, it's because all nerd culture's kind of gotten mainstream now. Like, it's like, you know, like all the things that we loved as kids that were kind of like, you know, looked down upon when you were doing. Oh, you play Dungeons and Dragons or you read comic books. You know, it's
but now
all of a sudden
what are
super popular.
Highest grossing movies now are all comic book movies,
Yeah,
right? Like they're all based on those.
Yeah.
Characters.
We won.
Yeah,
Yes. You know, I remember going to I would go to church with my grandparents. We played D&D, and like some girl made a big fuss about it. Like I was doing satanic stuff at church, you know, and stuff. And the preacher actually stood up and like, you know, my kids play D&D. There's nothing wrong with this. And I thought that stuck with me for a long time. And like even then I said, D&D should be brought into schools, and like for school clubs and taught in schools and used as a teaching tool, because it builds critical thinking. It builds camaraderie. It builds all these things.
Yeah, I mean,
they're
you
so
have
integral.
to work as a team as well. I mean, you have
exactly
that
teamwork,
and
some kids aren't built for sports. I was kind of a weird hybrid. I played baseball and some football, and I was a nerd too.
Yeah,
you know, but some kids,
same here.
Some kids can't. They don't get that teamwork thing from.
Yeah.
They can't play sports. So D&D is such a huge. It's to me it's the perfect game. It really is. You know, and everything that we're doing now, from video games to this, it's all derived from what Gary Gygax, you know, Tim Kask, Arneson, all those guys did.
Hell yeah, dude!
You know,
I carry a 10-foot pole with me wherever I go. You never know when that shit's gonna come.
In Flint and Tinder. Yeah, you got to jump a pit sometimes.
Yeah, hey.
I mean, how the hell are you going to jump a pit without a 10-foot pole?
10-foot pole.
What the hell did you carry the 10-foot pole in your character there?
Don't you worry about that.
That time you're in prison, Beck taught you about that.
Oh, you took that weird, man.
So that was kind of that's kind of my journey through Dungeons and Dragons and then board games, and then a few years ago I met with some other friends and we started playing more traditional board games, quote unquote traditional tabletop board games.
Catan.
In that I started to realize like, oh wow, there's this whole other world out there, and then meeting John and
how did you guys meet?
So at one of my events.
Yeah, so one of your first events.
Yes.
I was going to.
I was very young.
Yeah, there was another group that was putting on
rolling
twice
D20s.
a month, rolling D20s, and they were doing board game nights, like open board game nights, and they just brought their collection, and they set up in a public place in a brewery, and people just
you guys hang out breweries a lot, huh?
Anaheim has a lot of breweries.
I ain't got a breweries a lot.
Yeah.
Speaking of breweries,
I've got another.
I'm kind of trapped back here behind Dulce. Can I talk somebody into maybe getting me another one of these delicious Anaheim 1888s or whatever we.
I'm going on a beer run. I'll be right back.
All We're all friends. So gather around. We're here.
So
we're talking.
So in kind of going to those events, and then John started showing up doing some special.
I was
demos
partnering
and
up with
stuff.
IDW at that time, IDW Games, and they were giving me new games that were coming out.
Who?
IDW Games.
I'm sorry. They're awesome.
This podcast.
I just say that because they're so big.
No, and we
like
still
everybody
work-
knows who they are.
It's great. It's been
They make
crazy,
comic
so-
books too, right here.
They do.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Yep. So that's how we met, and then I saw John wanted to do.
Oh, shout out to
larger
Chris
events.
Rael. Shout out to everybody at IDW.
Yeah, definitely.
So they're awesome, you know.
Yeah,
I kid. You guys are awesome.
yeah, they've been
Thank you.
big supporters of tabletop takeovers since the beginning. I'm good, I think. Yeah, thank you.
Cheers.
Though. And so we started working together, kind of putting on the special events, getting you guys out there, to be able to demo games, and we found that there was definitely a crowd of people that were looking for, again, kind of an alternative to the traditional game shop.
Yeah.
A little bit easier to get into, less gatekeeping, and then the other big thing that we found that was kind of set us apart was the fact that we would have people there to teach the game, and either yourselves, the creators that would come down and be able to teach the game, or we would ahead of time learn the game and then we could teach it to new players. So they wouldn't have to sit down and spend the first hour thumbing through the rule book to figure out how to do
or
it.
if it was just intimidating.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, a lot of people.
A game of this size can be very
it's
intimidating.
Absolutely.
To a lot of people.
Sure.
But if you're able to set up, like you guys do at cons, you have somebody there to help guide you through the process and understanding how those rules work, and that's kind of how we saw where we could benefit the hobby in general, but also the creators and the individual game publishers and things to be able
It's
to
super fulfilling,
open
man.
it up to.
You sit down and like everybody, like we talked about this the other day, like at cons. We got back from PAX South. Total strangers can sit down, have nothing to say to each other, and before I've seen demos where they stand up and hug each other. And they slap each other
Nice,
because they've solved. They've banded together to solve a common problem, and they've bonded.
Yep.
And
In an hour.
in
Like
an
complete
hour,
strangers
Yeah.
come together over a wacky, weird, game.
Absolutely.
And they're able to
or
create
D&D
that.
or whatever, and like
Love it.
you're doing the Lord's work over there. Playing the D&D because people, we need this right now in our society. God bless video games. I love it. But remember the days like everybody was sitting around the TV and you pass the controller over.
Or your split screen 4.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you're playing GoldenEye, someone could be winning. Someone could be winning GoldenEye, but all you have to do is look at the screen below. You're like, oh, I know where he's at. He's in that tunnel. I know where that tunnel's at. I'm coming.
Exactly. And we played Resident Evil 2, and like we'd take shifts. Like it's your turn, bro, and we'd all be like, oh my god!
Yeah.
We'd all be like,
Run!
No, don't shoot the bullets! Run! And now you're playing with somebody. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate was another great one.
Like,
Yeah.
work started Dave, he was like, we can play together.
Yeah.
Wow. Sexy time. But yeah, it's like,
I like them. You shoot spells.
well, StarCraft. We used to link our computers together and stuff, man, and play that stuff. But it's like, that's missing. We're social creatures, and we need to face-to-face. We need to communicate again together. And all of a sudden, like, a zeitgeist has happened, and like people are demanding it now. I was looking out at PAX South at the open gaming section. We got 4 football field size space. Everybody's playing games, playing Dungeons and Dragons, man.
Yeah.
Like, would you ever thought you would see 1,000 people playing Dungeons and Dragons?
It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. Some of these conventions I go to.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm just like, this is so brilliant. Like, I never thought I would see this in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Like, and here we are at like, we're one of the people that's like giving some of these people like a great experience. And it's like, it's like, that was kind of like a weird thing when we were starting. We were like, well, we're doing something that's really weird. We don't really know how many people are going to like this, but you know what? If,
What's your passion?
We're weirdos, and we think that there's probably at least, a couple other 100 weirdos out there
you got
that'll like this, So it's the same shit
At least
you're
2
doing,
are.
Yeah.
But it's like if you do what you love and your passion, it makes you laugh and smile. it's got to make a few other people do
Exactly.
the same thing.
Yeah.
No, it's all about passion in this industry.
It's all about
right now.
passion.
Oh, we have
man.
so much fun. Like, yeah, I mean, PAX
And you make friends.
I mean,
Oh my
we
God,
were running
our lives
demos
have changed
for.
because of this. It really, we're sitting here doing a live stream in our living room talking about a game we made.
Drinking beer.
Drinking beer
Yeah.
with two great friends. Or we're just as passionate about the game industry as we
Yeah.
are. If we hadn't took this journey, this would never have happened.
No,
Yeah.
would
We
not.
met people in the D&D. Like, we're going to hang out with Tim Kask in a couple of weeks, one of the originators of Dungeons & Dragons. It's like, we're hanging out with our heroes, hopefully, It's like, we're hanging out with our heroes. We've met so many like-minded people. It's like, wow, man, I have to pinch myself sometimes. It's been hard work, but it's like, what the hell, man?
It's been a
It's
great
like-
journey, and
It's been a great journey.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's awesome. We get to do stuff like this with you guys and hang out with you, and we're really looking forward to like all the stuff that you're going to be doing going forward, and
That's the plan.
yeah, we'll be partnering with
You
you on a bunch
and we
of
guys,
stuff.
we're so
and-
super impressed. Like, tabletop takeovers, man, it's such a brilliant idea. Like the OC guys looked at what's out there, like what can we do to make this happen? Like it's so brilliant. Like you said, like you go into a game store, unless you know people there, games, people are kind of standoffish a little bit.
Well, the other thing that we ran into,
You
you
know?
get the 20 questions of what you know. So, and
Yeah.
I think that's why we target the beginners and casual gamers. The ones that are, if we weren't doing the stream right now, me and Jeremy would be coming over here and we're just playing a board game. Well, we could easily do that at Game House or Emerald
Sure.
Knights or and other places, but we feel comfortable at home. So our goal for me and Jeremy is to bring these people out into the public and have these larger game nights and like have them ask questions, do these streams where they can ask the creators on what's going on and feel comfortable like learning new things. Because I mean, Jeremy's had a long road the last 2 years learning all this stuff. I've been off and on. I kind of got away from the comic book scene, the comic book store, the friendly local game shops, and I'm like, I want to learn and I want to teach this stuff.
Yeah.
Sure.
And exposure that these mechanics aren't that difficult, and you can learn these games and bring the experience back. It's experience. It's creating.
Yeah.
It's creating that virtual world, or not virtual, but that that world and just to step away from our world or our real world, stepping into another world for about 3-4 hours and having a good time with your friends,
Escapism.
win or lose.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it's not about winning or losing.
Exactly.
It's an experience you have with each other, like just like you said. It's the commodity,
So,
like hanging out together.
I've never been the guy that wear my trophies of like, oh, I entered this tournament and I've won 6 tournaments or I played this game. I never lose at this. No, I don't. I'm like I'm here to play board games.
we walked in some.
It's the journey, not the end.
Or
goal,
you get the questions of,
destination.
have you played this?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Have you played this? No. Have you played this? No. Have you played this? I want to. I know what it is. Like,
But me and Weller, we first started demoing this game. We walked into some local game shops. And it was like the old West. You walk in, and everybody stops and turns around and stares at you.
Yeah.
And it's like you sit down, and people are playing games, and they look miserable. You're like, ugh. It's like, are you guys having fun?
Yeah.
It's like, aren't games supposed to be fun?
so.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So the casual gamers out there, we run events in Orange County. Come out, please come out.
Yeah, and
Oh, yeah.
they're it's like these guys will teach you how to play games you might be interested in, but going into a game shop to play might be a little too intimidating. It's more of a casual atmosphere, and when everybody's having a beer, it makes everything.
It'll
that
get
much
exposed to a lot of
kind
different games you
chiller.
wouldn't normally know about. And like the game industry is so
7,000
change.
7,000 games coming out this year.
It's crazy. It's like you
Yeah.
think it's going to hit the midnight hour, and it keeps growing.
5,000
Yeah.
5,000 titles last
I don't-
year. 7,000 this year.
Kickstarter sold $200 million worth of games this past year.
It's
It was up
crazy.
18% from last year. Over a little over, I think, 3,000 individual campaigns that were successful.
So when I'm
Like,
starting to do a little bit of
nuts.
Yeah, we're not even remotely close to the ceiling on this. Like with that type of growth and
Right when I think we
yeah,
are, like
yeah.
something like Tainted Grail comes out, or I see those numbers on that, or I go to PAX South. So last year we were at PAX South too. So the Friday was kind of a slow day, and Saturday's usually a busy day. This Friday was busier than last year's Saturday, and Saturday was so busy that we lost our voices. And like the video games now, the industry, I love video games, but the innovativeness is coming from board games right now.
Yes.
And it's like video games now are releasing Resident Evil 2. They're going back and do reboots.
Yep.
They're kind of the same malaise that the movie industry is going through right now, in a way. You know, except for maybe the comic movies are kind of cool right now. But it's like the creativity, the scene of the indie game devs is like, this is like a golden age.
No, we are in a golden age.
That people will look back on and say, this is a special time for games.
Oh,
You know,
so many great creators that we meet at these things. And it's like, holy shit, this is what you're doing? This is brilliant.
It keeps getting crazy
Like,
every year.
Yeah.
And I
It's-
think,
I
it's
feel
nuts.
I feel like board game mechanics, tabletop mechanics are evolving where video games are. There's not much more they can do.
I think the mechanics in this video game industry start looking at the mechanics in board games and saying, "Oh, people are hungry for mechanics."
Well, you can
and then
do
they're
the
going
same
to- and then they're
stuff,
going
but
to
you don't have millions and millions of dollars of overhead to get the thing off the ground.
Right.
That's the
Yeah.
thing, you know. It's
Yeah.
like you've got, you know, thousands of dollars instead of millions of dollars, you know,
Right.
to
Yeah.
build something of this caliber, and some people are like, oh wait, like that's also really kind of cool,
Right, and so that also lends itself to people being a little bit more eager to take those creative risks.
Sure.
Like you can follow your
Yes,
passionate
yeah.
idea because it's a little bit more affordable. Like you can't sink in millions and millions of dollars into a video game that goes down this weird rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But with a board game,
Yeah.
Exactly.
it's a lot more reasonable to,
Yeah,
to do
and
something
then
like that.
then you
So-
build an
Yeah.
audience and get them
Exactly.
used to all that weird stuff,
Yep.
and then you do a multi-million-dollar video game,
Right.
And all of a sudden you've got a giant audience that's ready to buy that.
Exactly.
But-
Yeah, and
And-
you can build it up a lot easier, and it
Not
encourages the creativity.
Yeah.
a lot
And
more.
you know, Kickstarter and indie game scene, like we're doing stuff. If we work for a company, like we've had publishers approach us and say, like, "Well, what's your game time?" Like everybody wants to do what's happening now. Nobody's trying to do something that's going to happen. Like is going to be the next thing now.
Right.
And I think if you work for a company, they limit your creativity.
Everyone most major companies chase trends and
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
And they try and capture trends after, like, by the time they can bring anything to market for that, it's already over.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I've worked in the toy industry for many years, and I've seen this over and over again with certain companies. They're just like, oh, let's do what they do, and it's like, cool, you're gonna get it in the market 8 months from now. You know what? At that point, like, all these kids are gonna have moved on to something else.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, do something you're passionate about. Do something weird that's going to set you apart. And don't follow trends. Like, just do your thing, you know, and find your audience. You know, like I said earlier, if you know, if you're like, this is weird, I don't know if anybody's going to like it. There's probably a couple other 100 people out there that are weird enough that they're going to be like, holy shit, that's really weird. I really like that. You know.
And I mean, going back to Kickstarter, like that is now a place where those people can directly support.
Absolutely,
those visions.
absolutely,
And that-
yeah.
I think that's another thing that's kind of helping that growth is that these other weirdos out there this includes me, you know, that see something and they're like, oh, I can support this directly. Like I can buy into this concept and this vision and support it to make it happen. Because I am passionate about it too, and I think that is a really unique way of commerce.
Yeah,
Like,
we would never have
just
been able,
in general.
Yes, we would never have
it's
been able to
amazing.
get this off the ground without the
definitely.
Kickstarter platform. There's no way. There's absolutely no way we would have been able to have done it.
I've got to give.
But you did it.
I've got to give a shout out to Jeremy.
Yeah, but without that, I mean,
I've got to give a shout out to Jeremy Howard, who's a huge lover of games. He does a lot of interviews and reviews on games. He just said, it's like, I was going to jump in. I was going to jump in and chat, but my wife would have killed me. I have to record all week for previews, so I have to be a good husband. So it's okay, Jeremy. So I'm calling you out on that. That was a private message, but I'm going to throw it out.
So we probably, I don't mean to cut us off, we'll probably start wrapping up because that camera battery is going to go out.
Okay.
So,
fair enough.
Yeah.
so
Okay.
let's,
Guys, thank you
no.
for coming over.
Dude,
it was awesome.
Man, it was awesome, brother.
let's recap real quick who you are, where we can get the game, when the game's coming out, and how much it is.
I'm Weller. This is Craig. This is Escape from Dulce. You can still pre-order it now. Where, Craig?
You can go to sentientcowgames.com. The pre-sale button is on our website. Just click on that. It'll take you right to it. We're not going to be going to retail for a while. So if you want the game with all the unlocked stretch goals for the same Kickstarter price, we started at $80. Jump on it right now. And you can find us at cons. Our next convention we're going to be at is OrcCon.
OrcCon.
And that is, what's the dates on that?
That is February, I believe.
14th?
It is February 15th through the 18th.
Okay.
All right.
And that's near LAX. It's
Yep.
a Strategicon con.
Yes.
So
We are shutting down the pre-orders very soon. We've kept it open through this weekend.
go immediately.
We are, because of this podcast, we were keeping it open a few more days.
Okay.
Buy now and avoid future
Yeah,
regret.
what, you guys touched on what the percent you had left of actual copies.
We have about 15 to 20% of
Okay.
copies left.
Okay.
There's
So
not
we're going
that.
fast.
And we're not going to
Yeah.
we're not going to
So
retail
this is-
anytime soon.
so-
So
The average
we
person
have a
watching
couple
right now-
retail stores. I will get you names. A couple of retail stores in Arizona, Texas.
okay,
and a couple
we're not going to mass retail.
Yeah.
But they only have a few copies.
Yeah, right.
So
So
we'll
this
give you
is-
that list of
Yeah.
a few copies that are available in retail.
And that's the
For
lovely
great
Donna,
retailers who
our
backed
third
us.
partner
Yeah,
of
third.
City Cow Games behind the camera, who is the voice of reason.
So I like buying Kickstarters. I like buying games. So this is, with them saying there's only 15-20%, this is how it's going to go down. We're all going to get our copies in the next, me and Jeremy are going to get our copies in the next 3-4 weeks, or
Yep.
let's say, right?
Yep. Yep.
Right.
We're going to take photos. We're going to play this. We're going to take it to people's houses.
So
and
this,
then,
this is going to be a
You're going to pay
staple.
cows.
yeah. So
oh, yeah,
March,
yeah.
first week of March is going to now come around, and people are going to be flooded with these photos of this game.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, this game's awesome. BGG rating's just going to go up. And then by the
It's
time
gonna
that
be
you go and
gone.
click, all the games are going to be gone.
Yes.
It's going to be like Thanos.
Be there or be square. The snap will happen and it'll turn to dust. And you'll be crying.
We're
And everybody will be
probably-
playing with their cows
Yeah.
and their lizardman commanders, and you'll be crying. You'll just be crying.
So I just wanted to put that in and just let everyone realize that this is what's going to happen.
It's probably good. We're probably going to be out
So,
of stock by end of March or early April. We
So,
think.
and then
Get on this now.
Jeremy and myself, we will be hopefully running a release party. I know there will be limited copies at that point, but we will be running a release party for these guys. So
Yeah, we're looking super forward.
it's going to
to
happen.
that.
They're going to be putting
Yeah.
some copies aside for us
Yes,
for that event.
yeah. We will, and we're going down to the OC for that. We're going to be down there, and we're probably going to do it at Frankie's place. I
I
think.
think we're going to do it at Frankie's place.
Which will be
Frankie's.com.
awesome. Frankie's awesome.
Thanks, Christopher Bowen, for sharing this cast.
And
We got people jumping on it.
it'll be a blast, man.
So we're going to Dice Tower Con too in Vegas. Which the date is on that, Donna?
That is March 6th.
It's sometime in
And
March.
that's when the last copy of the game will be gone.
Yeah.
Google that. We'll have 2 copies of the game there. Maybe.
We should come up internally. We should circle dates on a calendar, almost like pregnancy, but when you run out of games, like when the child's due.
The meter goes down.
Yeah.
Like spawns hell energy. It goes down. It's gonna die.
I'm totally against
All
those people that buy 3 copies and then they keep one and then they sell the other 2, but wait for the whole stock to run out. But it's actually a good idea at this point.
Yeah, those people might make some money on this.
You can buy it. You can buy it on Amazon for $400.
We'll see. We'll see what the supply demand ends up being. You know.
Yeah, so
So many people are jumping on right now, but we can't stay on all night. We'll do another one.
we're leaving
We'll do
soon,
it.
and this is going to be on Facebook, so you can still jump on
Yeah, you can
and
watch
check
it.
it out.
Yeah.
But again, one more time, where can they find the game? At
SentientCowGames.com. We're on Facebook. We're on the Instagrams.
You can
we're on
also
the
pre-order it
Twitters.
through Kickstarter.
And on Kickstarter, right?
yes.
As well.
and the
Pre-order it
games,
through
the
Kickstarter,
games
yes.
are on U.S. soil right now,
Yes.
It's in a truck going to the fulfillment
but they are on
centers.
U.S. soil.
Yes,
Yes,
they're here.
They've,
So,
they've,
if you
they've
want
gone
one,
through
get
customs.
it.
Hurry
The
up before the
games-
government absconds them because we're actually this is a soft release of this information of Dulce base. We haven't told you guys, so it's like you guys are a part of this. So hopefully,
We're Cal
the Men in
Army.
Black.
We're Cal
doesn't
Army.
come. Yeah. No, you're in on it. You're in
I
on
do
it.
want
So,
to do a shout out to OTX
Soft disclosure.
and Quartermaster for putting up with my numerous emails all week long.
No, we thank you because we want our games.
Yeah.
No, they've been
awesome.
great to work with.
They have
though.
been really
They are
good.
awesome,
So,
awesome people. Like,
OTX
shipping is a
and
moving target.
Quartermaster.
And Quartermaster, okay.
They are now my new best friends because I talk to them more than I talk
They've
to
been
anyone
super
else I know.
professional. Excellent. Great. And let's
Nice.
a shout out too to Ningbo Eastar, who has been a great manufacturer partner with us. I highly recommend Ningbo Eastar. They did Lords of Hellas, they did Potion Explosion, and they've been nothing but professional with us. So, highly recommend. Thank you so much, Tabletop Takeovers. This has been a pleasure.
No, our
You guys
pleasure.
are super
Yeah, go ahead.
pros too. Follow these guys. Go to Tabletop Takeovers Facebook page and stay in tune with them. If you're in the OC, check out one of their events.
Yeah.
And they're
Definitely.
they're the thing, the next big thing.
Well, I see a couple of our followers. We got Shannon still. Hi, Shannon. And we got
Robbie
Corinne.
Bride.
Corinne. We love our Corinne.
Yay.
Rob jumps on our live streams once in a while. So
Yep. Thanks for
yeah.
joining us.
Yeah,
So-
you guys are awesome. Go back and watch the whole thing. We've said some witty stuff, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're super smart and funny through the
So
entire
if
thing.
Not at one time were we not that.
No. And if you like this live stream, we're actually going to be back on Tuesday with
Yep.
Spencer Reed from IDW Games.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
Spencer.
We're
Yeah.
going to have their Kickstarter laid out for Teenage
What?
Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, I want to play that.
Oh, the new
Oh, God.
the new stuff.
Spencer
Yeah,
Ross.
Yeah,
that
we got
stuff
all the
looks
new
crazy.
stuff coming. He's bringing the entire. We're going to set it up. We're going to be live streaming. I think we'll go on at 8.
Just about.
So
Yeah, I
about
think
8 o'clock.
Nice.
I've met Spencer many times at many cons. He's always
This
been
is my first time I'm meeting
a
Spencer.
gentleman.
He's
It's
got
always
all-
been very cool.
He's got a big role at IDW now.
And
so-
IDW is like really since he
we'll
took
be
up the
tuned
reins,
in.
it's blown. It's like it
Yeah.
seems like it's more streamlined.
Yeah,
it's going
so,
up. So
we got some good friends over there.
Yeah,
they
for
are,
sure.
They are our first friends. Like,
Yeah.
so.
and I'll give a shout out to Michael Wright, Unfiltered Gamer. We love you, Michael.
We do.
Michael and Callie. Don't leave Callie out of this.
Yeah, don't be Kelly.
Of
That was awesome.
yeah, I should have said Callie to begin with before Michael. I'm sorry.
Ladies first.
Ladies first, yeah. But if people wants their games previewed, reviewed, go to Unfiltered Gamer on Facebook and contact Callie Wright. And yeah, so they
Say you want some cow on there.
Cowley, right?
No, Callie. Tell Callie you want this game on there ASAP again.
Yeah, we're
The return with the
the
cow
return
army.
of the Cow Army.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you guys are great. This family is awesome. I love you guys.
Community,
Oh,
bro.
brother,
Yeah.
brother. Absolutely, love you
Yeah.
guys. Yep. And they
Oh,
brought.
I
beer.
just like the cheers.
Cheers. Yeah. All right.
Guys, thank you for coming over tonight. It was
our pleasure.
Fabulous.
And Jeremy, your D20 Adventure Realm.
Oh yeah, if you're
Can you
interested
run?
in playing Dungeons and Dragons in Orange County,
I am.
Find us on Facebook.
Oh, what are you doing
and
next Sunday?
Instagram.
I just made a tiefling paladin,
I know. I'm so excited.
and I must get experience points.
So we do 2 events monthly at the Anaheim Brewery on the 1st and 3rd Thursday of every month. So you can check us out there. It's a campaign that's been running for over a year and a half, and you just kind of jump in, and I drive the train, and you kind of jump in and hop off as needed, and we keep it moving. But to celebrate Super Bowl Sunday, we're actually going to be doing our second Dungeon Sunday on February 3rd. Again, our
to the
friend
realm of
Frankie
Dungeon
Stefano from One Up to Nerd is going to be
Frankie
hosting that.
Stefano. Don't
Jason
forget
gonna be there?
Frankie Stefano.
Our friend Jason
He's awesome.
Serrato from Thug Life Games.
Oh, Jason! Shout out to
He's
Jason.
going to be
Brian
running a table.
Malongi. Shout out to that crew.
Yep.
And finally Ray from Got DM. So you can find all those guys on Facebook and Instagram. Those are going to be the Dungeon Masters for our Dungeon Sunday dose.
Nice.
Yeah. So
And he said,
Check
and
us out.
Shannon Westbrook says, and he
sounds
runs
awesome.
us over with that train.
Before I go,
true story.
That sounds awesome. That sounds awesome, man.
Rob McBride says, I need to get over to see you guys. We can play mine and more cow.
There we go.
All right, thanks,
before I
guys.
jump on mine, I was in Jeremy's campaign a couple weeks ago. We had the bird character.
The Kenku.
Yes.
Yeah, my friend Julia was there playing the
It was
Kenku.
great.
You're doing some crazy stuff.
Yeah,
man, in your
it's
world.
a-
I want to get over there.
It's a bird person character that can't actually speak. They can only mimic. So it's pretty hard
She
to
was
roleplay.
fantastic.
But she was basically just
What was her
picking
name
up Julia.
Julia, shout out to Julia.
Yeah, she did a really
is
good
this?
job playing it. Yeah.
That's
This is a race? A new race?
Yeah.
Did you make it up?
No, it's in Volo's Guide. It's an official
Oh, okay,
Wizards of the
okay.
Coast publication.
That's awesome,
Yeah,
dude.
it's
All
pretty-
right.
It's good.
All right.
It's fun stuff.
I'm
So
excited.
I'm John, your Chief Gaming Officer from Tabletop Takeovers. We run about events twice a month. We usually spotlight a game. We have open gaming. Our events are free. We're planning International Tabletop Day. We're planning a release party for our Cal friends. What else do I got coming up?
Just follow us on Facebook.
Yeah, follow us on Facebook. Catch our streams.
We're really good about putting all those.
And you guys are
events
doing a
up on
point-based
there,
system
and
now, right? Where you come to the events.
We
Yeah.
do. I don't know if we're giving points tonight.
I think we got it.
We can get points tonight if you
Yeah,
share.
I think
If
we
you
got
share
it.
this stream in the next 24 hours,
Yeah.
we'll give you 20.
Give the people
we'll give you the 10
points.
points.
We can't get points from our
I'll give you
stuff.
the I'll give you the 10 points for sharing, 5 points for
What?
Why are you
for
gonna go-
commenting.
Whatever it is, that's what you're
Level
gonna get.
up.
We
Yeah,
also,
nickel
you know
and
what?
dime
We haven't
here.
announced this yet, but
Yeah.
we have a new logo.
Jason
coming.
Serrato's watching.
Oh,
What's up,
it's
Jason?
all
We just
right.
gave you a shout out,
We just
Jason.
gave you a shout out. We're really
Beckler
looking forward
shaved.
to.
I don't trust this.
To seeing you on Dungeon Sunday.
wait, where's your Nick Cage pillow?
He said, "What's up, nerd boys?
So,
What's up, bro?"
I mean,
We
we have
ta-
to
we
stay
ta-
on. We
we
got to stay
talked
on for
today.
60 more seconds since Jason's
We had a
on.
great conversation today.
Did you see the stream we did with Jason Serrato at Unfiltered
yeah.
Gamer Breaking Games?
Oh, yeah.
He had
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Nick Cage pillow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
That was
That's
wonderful.
sexy, man.
Yeah.
We're Nick Cage. We're watching. What's your favorite movie?
I was a little jealous of that pillow as I was watching National Treasure earlier
National
tonight.
Treasure. That's what
Weller, I swear to
He
God,
is a national
I swear to
treasure.
God, Weller watches National Treasure once a week, at least, right before bedtime.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It helps me sleep well.
All right, so let's sign off. I like to do grab your friends, grab some beers, and play some games.
Let's do a power toast.
Oh, power to. All right.
Oh, we gotta do it again. Grab some friends, grab some beers,
School.
I've got the alcohol.
and play some
Thank
games.
you, everybody. Thank you
on.
for tuning in.
Have a
Just hit
good
the
night.
red button.
Be good or be good at it. Jason Serrato, that shit is sick.
Let me hop up so I can save it.
I see the
Just hit the red one.
live.
Oh, my bad.
I see the red button.
My butt is numb.
Hi. After credits. Where's the red button?
Oh, where's the red button? Oh.